Will Paul Heyman be a deciding factor in the match between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar? Will Big E overcome the odds to retain the WWE Championship? And will Liv Morgan finally fulfill her potential and defeat Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship? These are all questions that will soon be answered on January the 1st at WWE's Day 1 pay-per-view. What's up, wrestling fans? My name is Aaron. I hope you've all had a very good Christmas. This is Wrestling by Wooldridge, and this is my Day 1 predictions video. Yes, I am doing predictions videos now, because I always enjoy watching other content creators do predictions videos, such as SCW Steve and JD Dangerously. Go and give those awesome channels a subscribe. I like giving my 2 cents. I happen to have a YouTube channel, so I thought, why not do it myself? If you're new here, welcome to the channel, and if you're returning, it's just wonderful to see you again. If you enjoy this video, subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff to help the channel grow. So as I mentioned before, Day 1 takes place on New Year's Day, the 1st of January 2022. Pretty self-explanatory really, at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. For those of you in the States, the event starts at 8 PM EST and 5 PM Pacific time, and will be available to stream with a premium subscription to your favourite streaming service, Peacock. Over here in the UK, the event starts at a very sociable 1 AM, which technically is on the 2nd of January, and is available to stream on the WWE network as it is for all other countries. At the time of recording, there have only been 7 matches confirmed, although I do believe Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura will also be taking place for the Intercontinental Championship, so I'll be giving my thoughts on that match too. We have the Scottish Warrior Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss. We have a fresh matchup between the Usos and the New Day for the Smackdown Tag Team titles. We have the Street Profits versus RK Bro for the Raw Tag Team titles. We have Edge versus The Miz. We have a rematch between Big Time Bex, Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan for the Raw Women's Championship. We have a huge fatal 4-way between Bobby Lashley, the recently re-signed Kevin Owens, the Drip King Seth Rollins, and the champion Big E for the WWE Championship. And we have yours and my tribal chief Roman Reigns versus Old MacDonald had a Brock Lesnar. Now, we might get a women's tag team title match, a rematch between Ziggler and Priest for the Intercontinental Championship, and maybe a SmackDown Women's Championship rematch between Toni Storm and Charlotte Flair, but for now we will just be discussing the confirmed matchups. So, first up, we've got the big one, Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss. The build has been, well, it's not exactly been compelling television, has it? But what I will say is that I'm definitely more interested in seeing a match between Drew and Moss instead of Drew versus Corbin. It'll be interesting to see what Moss is able to do on the big pay-per-view stage, as we haven't seen too much of what he's capable of. So hopefully this match gets a little more than 5 minutes. Moss and Corbin are nothing more than distractions until Drew can get himself back into the title picture, so there's not really a lot of excitement surrounding this match. But I think we will be getting a very strong performance from McIntyre regardless of Corbin's inevitable involvement, so unsurprisingly, Drew is my pick to win here. Next up, we have another chapter in the never-ending story between the Usos and the New Day for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. There's always a guarantee that you're going to get a great match between these two teams. The chemistry between them is undeniable, but the real challenge will be whether they can give us something different from what we've already seen before. This match has become a little more personal after the Usos and Roman Reigns put Kofi on the shelf and humiliated Woods with beatdowns alongside destroying his kingly possessions, so the New Day will definitely be looking for some sweet revenge. It's actually a tough one to predict because the bloodline is still going quite strong at the moment, but this could be where we start to see some cracks forming, especially after what's been happening with Paul Heyman lately. Personally, I would like to see the Usos hold on to the titles just for a little bit longer, but with there being a number of heel pairings lurking around, such as Los Lotharios, Ridge Holland and Sheamus, and Corbin and Moss. I think the New Day will be picking up the win here to become Smackdown Tag Team Champions for an 8th time. The third match we'll be taking a look at is Edge versus The Miz. A match that I did not expect to see booked, as I'm sure many others didn't. It's not a super exciting prospect, especially when you compare it to the list of other potential opponents for Edge. I don't think that their styles are going to mesh particularly well with each other, but Edge was one of 2021's top performers and The Miz is a capable wrestler, so I'm sure this will still be a relatively decent match. Despite the difference of opinion in the IWC, I enjoyed the promo work between Edge and The Miz to begin with, but unfortunately the feud has floundered in recent weeks. For instance, I thought Edge did look a little foolish last week when he figured out The Miz and Maurice's scheme, only to fall victim to it in the end. Maurice will inevitably interject herself into the match at day one, so there is some speculation that Edge's wife, Hall of Famer Beth Phoenix, will make an appearance and also get involved in the match. My only hope is that this match will end the feud and not lead into a mixed tag team match at WrestleMania. But only time will tell. I'm choosing Edge to pick up the win and gain the momentum heading into WrestleMania season. Then we have the Raw Tag Team Championship match between RK Bro and the Street Profits, which was only just announced on this past Monday Night Raw, after the Street Profits defeated the Mysterios to win the RK Bronament, which was a great match by the way. I would love to have seen Alpha Academy win the RK Bronament, as I've been quite entertained by their mini feud with the champions, so hopefully Otis and Gable will still get an opportunity further down the line. Obviously there isn't much of a story going into this one, but I'm sure it's still going to be a very solid match. The Street Profits epitomise consistency, and RK Bro have been one of the standout acts in the WWE for the whole of 2021. I've thoroughly enjoyed their work together. I still think it might be a couple of months too early for Orton and Riddle to split up, especially when you consider the ongoing storyline between AJ Styles and Omos, so I'm inclined to pick RK Bro to win this one and retain the titles. Sami Zayn versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the Intercontinental Championship is another match that should be happening at day one, after Sami Zayn won the 12 Days of Christmas gauntlet match. It's crazy to think that the last time these two men faced off was at NXT TakeOver Dallas on Shinsuke Nakamura's debut with the company. That was one hell of a match. One of my favourite matches of all time, to be honest. It's unlikely that we will be getting anything of that calibre, but there should still be a great match. Nakamura's title reign has been extremely forgettable. I believe he's only defended it like once. I mean, why? Whereas Sami Zayn has been doing brilliant work with the top names in the company, no less. There have been rumours that Sami Zayn has also signed a new contract with the WWE, so I would not be at all surprised if he was rewarded with the title win here. I am predicting Sami Zayn to win, but hopefully if he does, the championship will be booked just a little bit better. Wishful thinking on my part, I know. Next up, we've got the WWE Championship Fatal 4-Way match between Bobby Lashley, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins and Big E. So I've definitely been entertained by the interactions between Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens, but the build to this match has been pretty lackluster in my opinion. WWE do have a proven track record with Fatal 4-Ways, as we've seen in the past. All four of these men are great professional wrestlers in their own right, so I am looking forward to this match. But I've never understood it when the WWE books different combinations of a matchup's competitors against each other before a pay-per-view. We've seen the steel cage match between Big E and Kevin Owens, and a gauntlet match when Bobby Lashley ran through all three of his would-be opponents. It slightly dampens the intrigue I have in seeing the pay-per-view match, because I've practically seen it already. However, Bobby's recent inclusion into the match and Kevin Owens re-signing with the company makes this match another tough one to predict. Personally, I would love to see Seth Rollins win. I've really been enjoying his work ever since the feud with Edge began. It's some of the best work of his career, and I think he could do an excellent job with the title heading into WrestleMania. However, I also think that Big E still has a lot to give as the WWE champion. I would like to see more of Big E's serious side, but I do think it likely that the WWE WWE keeps Big E as its champion. For now anyway. So yes, that's my prediction. Big E retains the WWE Championship. Then we've got a rematch between Big Time Bex and Liv Morgan for the Raw Women's Championship. And you know what? I've enjoyed this feud. It's great to see Liv Morgan in the title picture as it feels fresh. Morgan's underdog persona is the perfect foil for Becky's overconfident character, and I think both women have done an excellent job in building up this story. I enjoyed Liv showing up at Seth and Becky's gym. I thought that was a cool addition to the story, and there's the story of Lynch targeting Morgan's arm, which could add another dimension to the match itself. I'm still not sure whether the WWE should pull the trigger on Liv Morgan just yet. I think that her journey to becoming champion still has a lot of mileage left in it, and I think that an even bigger moment could still be made out of it. Obviously, Liv would have to look strong in defeat so as to not derail her momentum too much, but of course there is also the argument that the company should strike while the iron is hot, which is what I'm predicting they'll do. Liv Morgan to win here, but I would not be surprised to see her quickly drop it back to Becky Lynch heading into WrestleMania. And then last, but certainly not least, we have the likely main event of day one, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for the WWE Universal title. We've seen this match before, so we've learned what to expect when these two collide, but now we have the added question of whether Paul Heyman will play a role in the outcome of this match. Will he act as an advocate to Brock Lesnar, or was Heyman's dismissal from the bloodline all a scheme concocted by himself and Roman Reigns to deceive Lesnar and show that he is still the Tribal Chief's special counsel? After all, we have seen Heyman hoodwink Lesnar before during the Beast's feud with The Big Show way back in 2002. I've had a ton of fun watching Brock Lesnar's current run though. It's always great to see him on the mic just because it doesn't happen too often. He's not the smoothest talker in the world, but he's very organic. Plus, it certainly helps when Brock has someone as verbally proficient as Sami Zayn to work with. Overall, it's been a pretty fun build, and I'm definitely looking forward to the match itself. I think I side with the majority of the opinion that Heyman will cost Lesnar and rejoin Roman, so my prediction is that Reigns retains the title. But I would not be too surprised if we saw an upset either. So, to summarise, I think that day one is going to be a very solid show. The card is actually pretty stacked, and I struggle to see why it couldn't be a successful pay-per-view. I'm definitely looking forward to the WWE Championship match the most, but I am very intrigued to see how the WWE book Liv Morgan versus Becky Lynch. In terms of what I think the match of the night is going to be, I can't look past the Fatal 4-Way, but I do think RK Bro versus the Street Profits will be a dark horse. Do I think there will be any surprise appearances on the night? I could definitely see Beth Phoenix showing up in Edge's match, but other than that, I don't think so. So just to recap, my day one predictions are Drew McIntyre, The New Day, Edge, RK Bro, Sami Zayn, Big E, Liv Morgan and Roman Reigns. Let me know your predictions for day one in the comment section down below, and also let me know what you think match of the night is going to be. If you enjoyed this video guys, please hit that subscribe button. I would love to hit 500 subscribers before the new year. I think we're only something like 8 away, so please do subscribe if you haven't. Leave a like, give it a share across social media, and hit the notification bell to be notified when I release new videos. I hope you will have great days guys, and I shall see you all for the next one. Bye bye.